Hey guys, how's it going? How y'all doing today? My name is Jared. Thank you all for coming on another adventure here at Turkey Ridge. And today, it is the first weekend that we coming up here to really start hunting. This hunting season started about maybe, 3 weeks ago now? And this is the first real weekend that we come up to really try to hunt on the property. And what we're doing right now is we're going through all of our trail cameras. These are camera cards that we got to go through, and we're looking at all the different bucks and stuff that we got on camera. This is a little sneak peek right here. So what we started doing here on the property is this is the first year, this is going to be the second year that we really start doing this, but we make a hit list and we print pictures of a lot of the different bucks that we got on the property and we name them. And these are all last year's pictures that you're looking at right now. These are all bucks that survived the season last year. We're just keeping them up for right now, just kind of comparing them to see what bucks are back again this year that were here last year. So as I go through these cards right here, I'm going to compare them from last year to this year, and I'm going to save them all on the program that we got. And we're just going to go through the bucks, save all the bucks, and any of the deer that I think deserve to be on the hit list for this year. I'm gonna go ahead and print them out at home. I'm gonna bring the laptop home, save the pictures, print them out, put them on the board, name them. If I recognize them from last year, we're gonna have them, they're gonna keep the same name. And if we got a couple new ones, which I think we do have a couple new ones, like this one, I'm pretty positive this is a new deer. I don't recognize him at all from last year. But I think we got 5 or 6 this year that we have pictures of last year. So they're gonna keep the same name, and we're gonna have a brand new board, brand new hit list. Some nice looking 2 or 3 year olds that maybe some other people that hunt, that don't get to hunt as often as we do, would be happy harvesting. But we're gonna have the big hit list of like the really big ones, the 3, 4, 5 year old deer that we got on the property and up. Some of them are older than that. I don't know how old some of them are, but we definitely have some 4 and 5 year olds for sure this year that are on the top of the list. So next time we come up to the camp, we're gonna have a brand new board, and I'm super excited to see what this board for this year, 2020 season, will look like. It'll look great. I'm so excited. And for those of y'all wondering, we got a lot of cards. I think we have right around 25 cameras out, maybe even more, give or take a couple. I'd say at least 25 cameras. Now, we don't pull the camera card every single time we come up. Sometimes we do on some spots. Sometimes we wait a couple weeks. We don't necessarily disturb the area. But sometimes there could be up to 3,000 or 4,000 pictures on one card. A good camera card has anywhere between 500 and 1,000 in about a week. So yeah, the camera pictures can start to add up. We can start to look at a couple thousand pictures just in 1 week. And the reason why we have that many pictures is because we want to see every single deer that we have on the property. At least we want to try to see every single deer we have on the property. We want to have a good idea of what's out there, where to hunt. We don't want to waste our time hunting because we don't live on the property. We only get to come up here mostly on the weekends. Every now and then we get a long weekend, maybe spend, 4 or 5 days at the most. So after I get done looking at all these camera cards, going through them on the laptops here, I'm gonna bring them home, print pictures out, and we're gonna make a hit list. Stay tuned. Let's see what the hit list is gonna look like this year. Hey, and I'm back here at my house. This room my wife and I call the office because it has my computer and her computer as well. And I'm a little bit of a gamer too. I like to play video games, so I got quite a setup going on here. But what I have is, let me go ahead and spin y'all around from the webcam and show y'all. I got a couple different monitors here that I can go back and right now you could see yourself. Check that out. You can see yourself. So I'm recording on my computer right now, and I got my notepad, and I'm going through, and I could look at multiple different deer. I could look at the deer from different year. Put y'all back in y'all spot. All right. So with these multiple monitors here, I can look at the deer this year, last year, and year before last, and see how each one kind of progresses, how each one grows, and I'm gonna go ahead and show you all that too. So I just wanted to show you all the setup before I get into it here. Okay guys, let's go ahead and start jumping right into the hit list here. The first one that I'm gonna go ahead and put on the hit list is what I consider the biggest deer on the property this year. quite possibly the oldest as well. His name is Spartacus. This is the very first picture that we have of him this year. It's only half of his face, but we have a couple other pictures. They're not that great of him, but we know it's him. I know for sure that this is him. We had pictures of him last year, and they are the only 2 daytime pictures that you're going to see of this deer. They're going to be at the end here, but this is a solid. He was a solid 10-point last year. I think he's a 9-point this year. I don't know if he quite made the other crab claw on his right hand side, but he is a phenomenal looking deer. He looks fantastic. A really old deer, at least 5, maybe even 6 years old. I mean, this is a nice deer. Really good deer, big deer. Now, will we see this deer? I don't know. This deer was kind of elusive to us last year. No one's seen him. I kind of went back in some older pictures too, like in 2020, 2019, to try to see if I could recognize him, and I can't. So if anyone did see this deer at a younger age, it's possible, but no one has seen him at this magnitude yet. So hopefully someone will be able to get to see him this year. Alright, the next 2 deer on the list that I'm going to talk about is Smithy and Delta. So we're going to talk about these 2 deer at the same time because I have a lot of pictures of them together. They were running buddies, they were always together, and so I'm pretty positive that they're the same age, and we have multiple pictures of them, multiple years, all together in the same picture. Now, I don't have a picture of them together this year yet. I'm hoping that maybe we might, but I think Delta is kind of missing in action this year. So we're gonna see as the year progresses. But this is a picture of both of them last year. Delta is the one with his head down, big wide 7-point, beautiful looking deer. And Smithy is right next to him with his head up eating, kind of looking toward the camera with the split brow tine on his left side, okay? Here's a picture of Delta by himself, big wide 7-point. Here is a picture of Smithy by himself, really nice looking 8-point. Now I have a couple of pictures of Delta last year, and I'm gonna play these right now. They got a couple of pictures of him last year. You can look at the date stamp on a lot of these trail camera pictures that I'm going to be showing y'all. Y'all could see that this says 2021. Now I'm going to show y'all some pictures from 2020. If y'all look at the date on the pictures, this is Delta and Smithy together again 2 years ago. Delta was only a 6-point, and Smithy looks like he was only a 7-point. Delta also seems to like to eat a lot more than Smithy, because in all of these pictures, Delta seems to be the one eating more often. And then if we go back 3 years ago to 2019, you can see the stamp, the date stamp on the pictures. These are Delta and Smithy together again. Delta is a little 6-point, and Smithy is a little 7-point, 6-point, depending on how many you count there. In these pictures of them in 2019, I guess that they are both 2 years old, which would make Delta and Smithy both at least 5 years old this year. I'm just guessing they were 2 years old back in 2019. Going through these pictures and having them up and looking at them all at the same time, there's no doubt to me that these are the same deer every single year. 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022. That's how old I think they are. I could be off a year or so, but they're at least 5 years old. Now, coming into the 2022 season for Delta, I did say that I think he's missing in action because we haven't really had a picture of them together yet, and I'm not positive if I have a picture of Delta yet. The only picture that I think could maybe possibly be Delta this year is this one. Now, in this picture, I could tell that this is an old deer. He has a sagging belly. You could tell his neck is big, and it's early September, and he still has velvet on. So I could tell that this is an old deer. I could tell that it's only a 6-point. This is the only deer picture that I could see that somewhat resembles Delta. Is it Delta? I don't know. Y'all let me know what y'all think. This is the only picture I have. This is the only thing I have to go off of. And we are right here at the beginning of November now. And I still don't have a better picture than this. So y'all let me know what y'all think. Now going back to Smithy, I'm gonna just kind of let these roll a little bit because I put a camera that takes videos in this spot and it got some fantastic footage of Smithy this year. Smithy is up there on the list. I'd say he's a 5-year-old deer. He's beautiful, really good looking deer. You could see in the body of him that he's a big old mature deer. But Smithy has a little bit of a story because last time we went up to the camp, a buddy of mine that goes hunting with us put an arrow into Smithy and he shot Smithy. We trailed blood for about 75 yards and the blood stopped. It wasn't very bright blood. It wasn't very bubbly. It didn't have any bubbles at all. It was actually a dark red blood. We think that he shot kind of low, or he may have hit the liver. We really don't know. We trailed the deer for I don't know how far. I don't know how many hours. We kind of walked around looking for the deer. So we never recovered him, unfortunately. So we're gonna wait a couple weeks. Hopefully in a couple weeks we would get some more pictures of Smithy. But as of right now, he was shot. An arrow was put into him. We trailed blood. He was never recovered, unfortunately. Alright guys, next on the list is a deer that I'm not entirely sure which one it is, okay? We had two different deer last year. One of them was called Sunny and the other one was called Captain Hook. Now, this year, I'm not sure which one he is. So I'm going to go ahead and show you all a couple pictures of him. This is him. He's a big, wide 6-point. He doesn't look like Delta, so I don't think this is Delta. And it's also in a different part of the property too, which also leads me to believe it's not like Delta. Just his characteristics and stuff just look different, right? But obviously you can tell this is a mature deer. This is a big deer. Nice big 6-point. He's really wide and he's got some funky looking characteristics on his horns. So the reason why I think that this deer could be two different deer is I'm going to show you all both of them last year. So we have a deer that we called Captain Hook last year. This is what he looked like last year. He was a 4-point, 5-point, something like that. He had 3 on one side for sure on his right side. But then all he had was just this one big sweeping like main beam of a hook last year. That's why we called him Captain Hook. But you can obviously tell that this was an older, mature deer. This is what he grew last year. So y'all be the judge if this is Captain Hook or not. And the other deer that I think it might possibly be is Sunny. Now, Sunny was obviously a little bit younger last year. Could Sunny have grown up into this big 6-point this year? Possibly. I only have a couple pictures of Sunny right here. I went back and tried to find a few of them, and these are the best ones I could find. The only reason why I think that this 6-point this year could maybe be Sunny is he kind of has a little bit of the same characteristics where the bends are in his horns as Sunny. So did Sunny grow up big this year? I don't know. Is this Captain Hook from last year? I'm not 100% positive. Y'all let me know in the comments and tell me what y'all think. And next up on the list here is Odin. Now this year Odin is very distinguishable with this dagger of a brow tine that he got right now. I don't know if that's like a third main beam that's coming out of his head or not. It's kind of hard to tell, but he's definitely got some character to his horns this year. He just looks awesome. We got quite a few pictures of him this year. He was traveling kind of all over the place, coming out in daytime, coming to our feeders. We have quite a bit of pictures of him this year. Hopefully somebody will be able to see him again this year, because last year I made a hunt and I saw Odin last year when I was hunting my deer that I shot whitehead. This is a little bit of footage of Odin last year. He was only a 5-point last year. He didn't have any brow tines, just like this year, except for that dagger of a point that he got this year for whatever reason. He grew that out. But he was only a 5-point last year with 3 on his right and 2 on his left. And here are just a couple more pictures of him and maybe a video or 2 of him as well. Last year. All right, and the next deer that we have on the list is called Hercules. We named him Hercules last year. He kind of popped up at the end of November last year. We haven't had any history with him. We don't have any other trail camera pictures of him, but he popped up in the middle of the season last year, stuck around until the end of the season, and this year he is back early season, and he's on the property. He's staying on the property. So we're really excited about Hercules this year. He is a awesome looking 7-point. He might be an 8-point, but we don't have a good picture of him if he has like an extra little claw on his left side, but he definitely has one on his right side this year. So he's for sure a 7-point, really tall, really wide, just a stud of a deer. We think this is a 4-year-old deer. We think he was 3 years old last year. We have a couple pictures of him and a couple videos of him last year that I'm going to show y'all in just a minute. But I'm going to let y'all finish looking at these this year pictures of him. He just looks incredible. Looks like a stud. He is kind of on the top of the list for a lot of people at the camp. A lot of people like the way he looks. He's really symmetrical, really tall, really wide, and he's a really good looking deer. And now I'm going to show a couple pictures of him last year. He was only a 6-point last year. We have a couple of pictures of him, and we also have a couple videos of him late season working a scrape. And we do have a little bit of history with this deer now. My dad actually seen him in a hunt last year, which was really cool. It was right in the middle of rut. He was chasing a doe in the woods. My dad actually really wanted to shoot him last year because he was a gorgeous looking 6-point last year. Really nice looking deer. But I told my dad after the hunt, I said, listen, if you ever see him again, you really need to wait one more year. This deer is going to blow up into something really nice next year. This is going to be a great deer. And sure enough, he grew. My dad never actually seen him again after that one hunt, but he grew up into a really stud of a deer this year. And so I'm excited for Hercules this year. Okay guys, so the next few deer on the list, I'm just going to number them because I don't have a name for them yet. They're kind of new to the property this year. We don't have any history of them from last year or previous years that I recognize as of now. I sat here at my computer setup right here with all the screens looking at different pictures from different years and trying to figure out which deer was which. And after a couple hours of me looking through all kind of pictures, I didn't necessarily recognize these from last year. So they're going to be numbered. If y'all have a name suggestion, let me know in the comments, and let's get right into it. So this is going to be deer number 1. I'm just going to call him number 1. As you can tell that we only have a couple pictures of him. He is obviously staying in the same field. We don't have any other pictures of him anywhere else. And actually this field is kind of close to a property line, so it wouldn't surprise me if he's mostly staying off our property and just crossing the line just to come to this one field or feeder and then going back across the property, because like I said, we really just don't have that many pictures of him, but he's only hanging around in this one spot. He's a nice looking 8-point. I'd give him at least 3 years old. He might be 4, but I think he's at least 3 years old for sure. Nice looking deer. The field that he is frequenting is called the Island, and it's one of our most northern parts of the property. We'll see if we get any more pictures of him throughout the year or if anybody has an encounter with him. Okay, so the next deer that is not named, number 2, is this 8-point that I've seen in the only bow hunt that I've did this year. This field that he is on is called The Rock. He actually is traveling around the property. We have him in a couple different locations. I'd say about 4 different camera locations. We have pictures of him, but at this one spot he frequents kind of often, and we have the best pictures of him at this spot. He's a beautiful looking 8-point, but you can obviously tell in these pictures that he is a little on the younger side. I think that he is maybe 2.5, maybe 3. I wouldn't put him any older than 3, but I think he's about 2.5 years old. Good looking deer, beautiful, great deer. I can't wait to see what he grows into. Obviously, you know that I passed him. I seen him during the bow season. I had him broadside for 15, 20, 30 minutes. He stayed in the field and ate corn and grass and stuff for over 45 minutes. I could have shot him I don't know how many times, but he's a great deer, beautiful deer. And if y'all have a name suggestion for him, let me hear it. All right, next unnamed deer, number 3, we think is a 10-point, maybe 11. He has a couple different kickers and little crab claw and a couple little points here and there that we don't really know exactly how many points he really got, scoreable points. But he's a good looking deer. He's at least 3, maybe 4 years old. maybe even older, who knows, but I don't recognize him from any other pictures from previous years. But this is a dandy of a deer, if I had to say so myself. I mean, he's got points kind of everywhere. We don't really see deer with this many points that often on a property, and he looks great. He looks like a good shooter to be on the list. So this is, like I said, another one that has no name as of right now. So if y'all have any suggestions, put down in the comments with the number 3 and the name, and we'll consider your suggestion. Next, we got number 4 that is unnamed. This is another little 10-point. I think he's only about 2.5, maybe 3.5 years old. He's on the younger side. He definitely looks different than the other 10-point that I just showed you. So I know that this is a different deer, and he just looks younger body size. His neck is a little smaller. I just think he's a little on the younger side. So we just have a couple pictures of him. He's moving around a little bit. And number 5, no name, is this deer right here. We think he's a 9-point. We're not entirely sure, but it looks like his main beam on his left side just kind of stopped growing. It looks like a pretty obvious, distinguishable characteristic that he has going on right there. We only have these 2 pictures of him in velvet, in daytime. We have a couple other pictures of him too, but they're kind of blurry. They don't look all that great. But these are the only 2 like best ones that we could really tell a characteristic and distinguish him out from other deer. So if y'all have a name for this one too, let us know. Who knows if we even see him for the rest of the season, because he's gone missing since the end of August, as you could tell from these trail camera pictures. So let us know. So that does it for the no-name deer. 5 no-name deer that I'm going to be putting on the list. There is one more deer that I forgot to show y'all before I started the no-name deer. As with the number 5 no-name deer, we only have pictures of this deer in velvet. We don't have any pictures of him hardhorn yet, but I think I recognize him from last year as Wilson. In this picture, you see 2 deer. The one more in the middle is the 9-point, the number 5 deer, but the one all the way on the left is the deer that I think is Wilson. Here are 2 more pictures of Wilson. You could kind of get a little bit of a better idea of what he looks like. It kind of almost looks like he's missing his G2s. It looks like the horns that are growing are like his G3s. It looks like he should have some G2s that are closer in, if you know what I mean. I know these aren't the best pictures to go off of. These are only velvet pictures, and there's only these 3. We have a couple of pictures of him last year. You can tell that he does stay inside the ears, just like that velvet one. It does look like his horns swoop a little bit more forward before his tines start to grow, like he would almost be missing his G2s last year as well. Let me know if y'all think this is Wilson or not from last year. These pictures are the closest that I can compare from that deer to this deer. So if y'all see the correlation, let me know. If y'all don't see it, let me know. This could maybe be Wilson. And that about does it for the list this year. I'm going to include one more deer at the end of this, and his name is Swoops. We don't have a picture of Swoops this year. This is the only deer that we don't have a picture of from last year that I feel like it's worth mentioning. Swoops was a fantastic looking 8-point. One of the prettiest, awesome looking 8-points I've seen on the property ever. And we just don't have a picture of him this year. We didn't have any pictures of him all of January. We had pictures of him up until like the beginning of January, and then after that he just kind of disappeared. So is it possible that he got shot on a neighbor's property? Absolutely. Is it possible that he died, natural causes or anything like that? Absolutely, yeah. Because I expect that we should have seen pictures of him already. We had multiple pictures of him last year, and this year, 0. It's possible that Swoops is no longer with us, but this is the only notable deer that we had last year that was like high up on the list that we don't have pictures of this year. Besides that, all the rest of the deer that are on the list so far are some really nice looking ones, really good studs. and we hope to see some of these and put some of these on the ground this year. I'm sorry if this video was a little long too. If y'all made it all the way to the end of this video, I would really appreciate it if y'all leave me a like. I spent quite a few hours on the computer looking at all these pictures and trying to distinguish the different deers and put together this video for y'all. So if y'all would, I would really appreciate it if y'all liked, and if y'all haven't subscribed yet, subscribe to the channel for some more content, and look forward to seeing how our deer season for 2022-2023 goes. That about wraps it up for me, guys. Hope y'all enjoyed it. I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple more like honorable mention deer that I have pictures of. Some of them are like some smaller 7 points, 8 points, stuff like that I'm just gonna go ahead and let roll to the end of the video. But hope you guys enjoyed the video. My name is Jared. Thanks for coming on another adventure at Turkey Ridge. Enjoy the rest of the deer pictures, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.